Kogi has been in the news for good news. Um, and one thing that Kogi has been known for is our place in the issue of inflation in this country. Kogi has become synonymous with the cost of living in Nigeria. It has maintained a high ranking in the periodic statistic being released by the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. And it is an issue that is eating deep into the soul of people in Kogi State, both citizens and residents.
Like you rightly said, for years now we have Nigerian Bureau of Statistics saying that Kogi State kept topping the chart, followed by Kwara and other states, of course. As a woman, I go to the market, and honestly, it's not easy. Your husband will give you money. You go to the market, you have to find a way to add yours in order for you to just go home with something. And unfortunately, what you buy yesterday, it's not the same thing if you go back, or rather what you purchased from a particular place. By the time you go back today, the price has increased, and you have to ask yourself, was this not the same item I bought yesterday? What changed? For example, when I had a colleague that stays in Abuja. Usually she buys things from Abuja to Lokoja, which is not supposed to be. You go to the market, beans that ordinarily should be cheaper here is cheaper in Abuja compared to this place. Well, we'll other here like this, beans is cheaper. Then meat too, fish, virtually everything, including electronics. People buy electronics from Abuja. People buy furnitures from Abuja. People buy vehicle spare parts.
Building materials as well.
Yes, from Abuja. Then why is Kogi State different? Why are we topping the chart when it comes to inflation, cost of living? Why is it so difficult? And we have farmers. Imagine us. We have rice farmers in Kogi State. Let me not just say Lokoja. In Kogi State. Then why is rice? I'm narrowing it down to rice now, because I doubt if there's any household that doesn't consume rice at least once in a week. I don't want to say once in a day. At least once in a week.
In my household, my wife cooks rice almost
every day.
Every day.
So why is rice expensive in Kogi State? We have the Grinya rice. From what we gathered around, we heard that we have people that come from other states to buy this rice, move them out, repolish it, and bring it back to Kogi State at exorbitant rate for us to buy. So it's a very difficult thing. Cost of price of goods in Kogi State is quite difficult, and it's taking its toll on the citizens.
At times, I wonder how NBC got got their statistics, because a place like Warri, a place like Port Harcourt, a place like Abuja, that by the name, mere hearing the name, oil producing state, that things are very, very expensive in these places. So you now say Kogi State is topping the list of states where things are difficult, where it is hard for you to live, or those
where
things
things are costly,
where the most expensive.
The most expensive. So
most expensive.
I question that statistic at times, but you see, the human factor is like most of these traders, they don't have human feelings. You see, somebody will go and buy something, say price 800 naira, and will want to sell 3,000, 3,500, 4,000.
That's witchcraft.
She said it's witchcraft. It's more than witchcraft. Because it's as if you are using cutlass to cut people's pockets, to take money by force. And it is we ourselves in Kogi State that are doing this to ourselves.
So you are saying that we're left at the mercy of the middlemen.
Yes.
That will go get this thing at cheaper rate.
Yes.
Then bring it back to us. Ordinary ugu leaf. People will go to Pata. Traders will go to Pata and buy very, very cheap. Come back to places like Lokongoma Market. And they'll start tying it small for 100 naira, 200 naira. Like, does this make sense? Hey, why can't I just go to Pata myself, buy it very big, find a way to dehydrate the vegetable and start using it?
You see, you talk about goods, and you brought in the example of off-takers, those who come and just let me use the word chatter everything. They just buy and peel off the actual originators of those goods, the farmers and other people that bring in those goods, and then they become lords who want to gain exorbitantly
more than the farmers
from these goods that they have purchased
more than the farmers.
from the farmers. I feel that apart from the issue of those middlemen, there are other factors contributing to this phenomenon, and I feel our attitude contributes.
Yes.
An average person wants to put in minimal effort and make maximum gains.
Plenty gains.
What happens
Massive gains.
What happens to this attitude of being, your brother's
Humane.
keeper, and being sympathetic
Being
to the
humane.
feelings of others?
Let's assume that I'm a farmer. I plant maize, and maybe it will take like 3 months or 4 months for me to nurture this maize to grow. And you now sell this maize maybe to a maize seller, and you see the person come and say, the other time I went to buy maize, I wanted to eat maize. I went to the woman. She said one maize is 400 or 500.
350.
The moment she said that, I said, if it
You lost your appetite.
I lost it immediately.
For maize.
And after that day, I never visited her again. Because the thing is like there's no fear of God again. People don't even fear God that one day they will die.
For instance, Kotonkafe is a stone throw from Lokoja.
Yes.
Do you know that there are people living just at the edge of Lokoja, say around Serikinoma, Natako, and regularly, whenever they pass by, say Kotonkarfe, they are going to Abuja or to Gegu. Before they get to Abuja, they will stop by at Kotonkarfe to eat before they further their journey. Why they refuse to eat in Lokoja is because our restaurants and even our roadside food sellers, their food is expensive. Like, let me give you an example. I have some colleagues who, whenever any assignment takes us to Kotonkarfe,
Yes.
there is a particular woman we go to her
Yes,
place to
I've been there.
quality pounded yam. Even if
Fresh.
it is two rice you
Yes.
want to eat,
Yes.
she gives you quality food with fresh fish.
Fresh fish, yes.
Not fish, not trained fish,
Yes.
but
River.
riverine fish, fresh fish, with as little as 1,000 naira.
You dare not try it in Lokoja.
With as little as 1,000 naira, you can eat pounded yam and fish to your satisfaction
Now,
before you start coming back.
Now that you
But in
now that
Lokoja,
you mention fish, do you know that fish is very expensive in Lokoja? Unfortunately, with the bodies of waters we have around us, fish is very expensive in Lokoja. You find people buying fish from Taraba, Abuja, down to Lokoja. And ordinarily, we should be major suppliers of fish to neighboring
states.
neighboring states. But
Yes.
Here in Lokoja, you want to buy fish and you'll be hearing things like 25,000, 30,000, 40,000. Then I say, okay, if we can't use beef to eat, we can't use fish to eat. What exactly can we now use to eat in Lokoja? Rice is expensive, fish is expensive, red oil is expensive. Virtually everything, every food commodity, commodities are expensive in Lokoja. How do we get here? How can we get out of this problem?
I know you're very passionate about food. That's why all the things you just mentioned are all food items. But other goods. For instance,
food first. I'm passionate about food because it's food first.
Food first because we all eat food, we all feed. But then, apart from food, other goods. I mentioned building materials,
Yes.
car parts.
Yabagi, car parts in Lokoja is very, very expensive. And most of the parts, they are fake. About, I think 4 months ago, I bought absorber for my car, 33,000 naira. I was to go to somewhere and I called my mechanic, please check this absorber if it's okay. The guy told me that this absorber is fake, that I should come and return it. Thank God I went with his boy. I had to tell the boy to return it for me.
And
You send,
collect it?
yeah, if you have to collect it, 33,000 naira. Remove 33,000 naira out of my salary. I will cry. I will cry. You understand? So people have now resorted to calling Abuja.
Yes,
please, I need these parts. And those guys in Abuja, they are very, very honest.
We bill it.
They are very honest, and they will bill it for you.
Even with your way bill money, it's still not as close to the price you are giving here in Lokoja.
Why is this phenomenon so, to a large extent, peculiar to Lokoja, the state capital? And let me give you an example of why I said so. Do you know that a lot of persons buy some goods? They prefer to buy some goods from Okini than here in Lokoja.
Even Ajakuta here.
You're thinking about. Let me cite an example. Last time I traveled to Okini, and I went to Okini for something to buy. It was supposed to have an occasion. I said, okay, let me just buy what we need for that occasion. Then just like that, I was like, how much is a roll of a beverage? And the cost, the amount they called, is way cheaper than how much I do buy in Lokoja. So I had to now, pull out money to buy it in bulk and bring back to Lokoja.
Did you resell?
No, not
for consumption.
Yes, for consumption,
Okay.
not to resell. Then when I got to Lokoja, I had to ask, because I have a habit of I don't buy things from. I don't know how to buy from you today. Tomorrow I'll buy from him. Next tomorrow, if you're my customer, you're my customer. Yeah. I'll buy from you. That even if I can't come to you, I can easily send someone. I'm like, why is this one expensive here in Lokoja and at home at Okene is quite cheaper? And she said, don't mind them, don't mind them. Like, they don't want to make money in this life, and they are coming back to Lokoja. They'll buy in Lokoja. They'll buy in wholesale. They'll come from Lokoja, Okene to Lokoja to buy in wholesale. Go back to Okene, sell cheaper than Lokoja. Say, but you know that people that are selling cheaper in Okene, they actually make profit. The difference is that you are killing us by selling at exorbitant rate. Why they make little profit and come back, buy more, go back home and sell. So I think it's attitude, people's attitude to things, or be to money, making large profits from goods. Maybe I feel there's this mindset in all the marketers in Lokoja. We're using Lokoja because that is where we are feeling the heat. To say Lokoja is the state capital. If Lokoja is the state capital, that doesn't mean you should kill people. People will make their money, and it is not even enough for them to feed throughout the month, because let me call it conspiracy among traders to extort money from citizens by way of adding unreasonable profits to their commodities.
Talking about conspiracies. Emmanuel, maybe you'll be the first to react to this. This issue of sellers of goods almost coming together in unison to increase the price of goods. What do you think are the factors that contribute to them achieving that?
Fortunately or unfortunately, the use of WhatsApp. You see most of these rice associations.
So you want to blame technology?
Yes. They
Yeah,
have
of course.
WhatsApp group. Even, you see, I was at a shop some times ago and I wanted to buy, I think, vegetable oil. The woman had it in stock. She had it in the shop. But she was calling
How much is
a
how
supplier.
much is it
How
now?
much are they selling it now?
How much is it now?
That one said they've increased
The price.
What she bought. So the new price now, she now wants to sell what she had in
wants
stock
it
for
to
me.
reflect.
And they have explanation for that. The first thing they will tell you is that if I have to sell to you at the old price, it means that I'll have to add my own money
To buy another
to
one.
buy the new
another
one.
goods.
But the how it ought to work, me, from my own opinion, how it ought to work is if the new price, let's say the new price the old price is 15 naira, for instance, and the new price is going to be 65 naira. You know how much you're going to buy it in the market. If you have to sell, it will be 65 naira. But you know how much you're going to buy in the market. What stops you from selling the old one, say 60 naira?
How about
Wait.
selling it at 15 naira? Because
No.
yes.
We have to be. We're trying to be.
You
We are
had
trying to
15
be.
naira in mind when you bought the.
No, we are trying to be fair. We're trying to
Okay.
be fair now.
Okay.
That instead of them saying that I want to sell it at the price I will sell when I bring the new one, why not sell it lesser? So that you can have that capital, your own basic capital to buy new one. Instead of selling it at 65 naira, you can decide to sell it 60 naira.
Or is that?
So that you will have that money. Well, aside from being a woman going to
is
the
that?
market, I'm talking from a business perspective now.
I know.
That you
I
in
know
order not
you're
to
talking from
shortchange
business
yourself
perspective.
and shortchange your customer, you try to strike a balance
No.
instead of selling at the
Do you
new.
know?
the new
You
price.
can use that scenario to build a trusted and close relationship with your customer.
Yes.
When the
At your own
customer come,
detriment.
this thing, this item, it has increased, but this is the one I have in store. So, and I'm selling it to you at the normal. See, this one will build the confidence of your customer in you.
Of course.
So
You're not-
even if you now buy the new product and you tell them it's this amount, they won't argue with you.
No, you're citing an example of the vegetable oil you wanted buying, and the person had to call and ask for the new price. So probably she sold the vegetable oil to you at the new price. I don't know what
No,
later.
I left the place.
I don't know what
It's
later
not by
happened.
force.
But me, I'm saying that instead of selling the new price, selling the item to you at the new price outrightly, she could add a little change in fairness to both parties. Add a little change, sell it, and buy new one. Then probably continue so that it will not be it's a win-win situation. But the kind of traders we have will not still reason the way I'm reasoning. They will prefer to sell to you at the new rate instead of getting just the money to buy the new commodity. That's what I'm saying. They don't wear human face when it comes to selling. They consider just their profit.
Talking about wearing human face among our sellers of those, I see no reason why we should have this high cost of especially food items in Kogi State as we have, because Kogi is largely an agrarian state. You look at it from the western part of the state, the
To the
central
east.
part of the state, to the east. We have large expanse of lands where people, farm. We are the largest producer of cassava and cashew in Nigeria.
Nigeria.
And cassava, finished goods of cassava are so expensive even
Yes.
in Kogi State because as we had earlier mentioned, those middlemen off-takers, they come and buy those things from our farmers in large quantity.
Now talking about cassava.
Every day.
Talking about
every
cassava.
day, sorry.
The gari.
Yes. Before
That
you
product.
come in, every day, you go to Pata here in Lokoja. If you come maybe late in the evening or very early in the morning, you see lorries lined up to buy off. Some of them have already been bought off.
Yes.
They are just loading our rice.
No.
Into
No,
those,
even before we talk about rice, let's talk about that. The end
Cassava.
product of that cassava.
Yeah.
Because from cassava you get
Gari.
you get gari,
Gari.
you get this amala.
Amala.
You can
Yes.
get amala from
Cassava
cassava.
flour.
Yes.
Why on earth will gari, pint rubber of gari be 4,000 naira, 4,500? Why? If we are the highest producer of cassava in Kogi State, should
In
gari
Nigeria.
in Nigeria, should gari be this expensive? Why? Is it the at the point of production that the price suddenly jack up?
Okay.
Up? I don't know.
Let me give you this example. Do you know that extortion by security agencies has contributed to the increase in transportation in Nigeria, not only Kogi State? You see, maybe somebody that goes to one of these Igala communities to buy gari to come and resell in Lokoja. The numbers of checkpoints that you see on the road, before you pass through those checkpoints, you need to settle. They'll collect 100 naira, 200 naira. Let's assume that between Lokoja and Ofu or Ankpa, you are going to see like maybe 10 or 15 police checkpoints. And the drivers are very, very wise. They will not want to be at loss. So they will build this money in the transportation fare that they are charging the business people. So to some extent, even if you are coming from Lagos, at times you won't blame people that buy goods from Lagos. Because the money, the drivers, the money they will pay to security agencies, as I was telling somebody the other time, just between Shagamu and Ore, you see like 20 police checkpoints. And you have to settle. They will collect money. And the driver, before he will even charge you at the park, he must have built all this money. Imagine you are going from Lokoja to Kaba. You are paying 5,000. You are going from Lokoja to Zuba or Gwagwalada. They will still charge you. That's if you get by the roadside. They will charge you 5,000. Imagine the distance between Lokoja and Kaba is how many hours?
I don't think that should just be the yardstick.
While I agree with you to some extent, it is not a justification.
And that's what I'm saying.
It is not a justification
for them to
because
increase the price.
You see, there is this culture of wickedness that many traders and even service providers in Lokoja have, built into themselves. What is the justification? The same amount of checkpoints that you pass through from Lokoja to Jos is the same checkpoint you pass through from Jos to Lokoja. The cost of transportation from Lokoja to Jos is
more expensive,
higher than the cost of transportation from Jos to Lokoja.
Now, why I said we should not use transportation to justify the wickedness. It's because a day to market day in Lokoja.
Yes.
If you go to new market, let me use plantain and yam for instance. They transported this thing from wherever they brought it from, and you buy it cheaper. Like plantain, I can buy from new market at, let's say, 3,000 naira. Bunch of plantain, 3,000 naira. I will buy that same plantain the following day from any market in Lokoja for not less than 7,500 naira. Why?
You are very correct.
So the middle men now
go
there.
Maybe there are checkpoints. There are
between new market and
Lokongoma market or this market.
So I just feel something needs to be done to to address. Usually, I tell business people, I tell marketers that you don't sell what you cannot buy. If we switch position, can you buy what you are selling to me? If I were to be the seller and you are the buyer, will it be fair if I'm selling what you are selling to me to you?
Talking about
I think by the time we switch position, we'll be able to understand better on how we can relate with we can have that buyer-sellers relationship.
I think anybody staying in Lokoja and even in Kogi State will understand that what we are seeing is something that is eating deep into a lot of residents and the entire citizens of the state. But let's come back to solutions. What do we think can be done to address these issues?
We mentioned, we didn't really talk about it deeply. We mentioned rice. We're still going to talk about rice because I'm using rice because of how important it is in our various homes. We said people come from different states and load their trucks with our rice, move it up to their various states, refurbish it and bring it back for us to buy at exorbitant rate. I feel that if we have local governments usually are in charge of markets, and I feel number one, they should provide storage for farmers. Then if they can have PPP, public private partnership, where they can build storage facility where farmers, I'm not saying farmer now, farmers can store their products that can take us through rainy day. In and out of season, we have goods that we can, commodities that we can push out. Then if we can also have rice meal that milling plants in some local in all the local governments, so that
it cannot be in all the local governments, because what we need to look at is
not
areas with comparative advantage.
Not 21 local governments, like local governments that will have rice production.
The name of Girinya
rice
is like a general name. Everybody knows Girinya. Girinya rice, Ibaji rice as well. Those areas where there is a concentration of farmers specializing in this kind of food crops. Like if we have a milling plant in Girinya, it will go a long way to help the state address this problem. Also in Ibaji and also in Lokoja, if we can have, of course, they will go a long way in helping us to.
Then we are looking at possible solution. Then we mentioned Lokoja. If the government can step in and find a way of reducing middlemen,
those off-takers.
Off-takers. If you can reduce it to the barest minimum, it will help the citizens, because if you have direct contact with farmers, things are not as expensive. Things will not be as expensive as they are now. Our major problem are the off-takers. So if we address that, we'll solve the problem in a way.
Yes, let me say this point. You see, the state government needs to rejig the transport system. You see, if government is taking over the transport system, providing buses, providing like maybe this CNG, keke, and all these things. You see, all these keke riders or drivers, and that have turned themselves to load all these interstates that, just as you said, that transport from Lokoja to Jos is more expensive. If we have a functional interstate transport system, all these things will become a thing of the past, because with the price of government vehicle is cheaper than that of where do you think people will go?
The government.
Thank you very much, Oiza and Emmanuel, for your insight into this very important issue today. I'm not sure an hour is even enough for us to exhaust this topic. Our viewers out there, I know you also have your own ideas and suggestions on this topic, and also your contribution, please. Whatever is your view, your contribution, you can send it to the information you are seeing under your screen. As we always say, the Confluence podcast will always bring you important discussion across all topics in the society.
1, 2,